Hello, folks. Do you have a portable oxygen concentrator and are you maintaining it? Hey, I'm Annette. My website is AnnetteLeonard.com and you are listening to the Chronic Wellness Podcast. I recently had to get on an airplane and I'll talk more about that in upcoming episodes. But for me, as a person with lung disease, air travel means using oxygen. And oxygen used to be a 24/7 thing in my life. So I am well versed in the world of oxygen concentrators and oxygen tanks. And I am lucky enough to possess a portable oxygen concentrator that, in the world of oxygen concentrators, is pretty small. And it is this model. It's from a fairly well-known brand called Inogen. And on the last trip when I used this, the alarm started going off and said oxygen low. And I ignored it first and then checked my oxygen saturation and learned that it was low. And so then I started calling companies who say that they service the Inogen. And what I learned was that I could send it away to be serviced and pay a one-time service fee that might be really expensive, like to the tune of $500. Or I could pay these companies a really high service fee to the tune of like $1,100, and they would service it in an ongoing way forever. Well, for those of you who are in this world, you know that you purchase these units for, at the time I was getting in on the game, like $1,400. So to then pay that again to have somebody service it for life, I mean, it's probably a good deal, but I didn't have those kind of funds to spend on it. And so then I started digging some more and doing some more of my own research. And what I found were a number of things that I, as the user, can do to maintain my machine, from changing just external filters that are on the machine and cleaning them, to the primary culprit in these instances, which is called the canisters. And the canisters are these, if you are watching, silver tubes that make up the bulk of the weight and size of this unit. And you can go online and purchase the canisters. And for my model, the canisters were either $100 or $120, so substantially less than repairing or paying for a maintenance plan on my machine. And then I just typed in my unit model and number on YouTube and said replace canisters on this unit number and model. And there were a number of videos about how to do it. And the most critical part after replacing the canisters is that then there's some fiddling around with the computer that needs to be done so that your unit knows that the canisters have been replaced. That's key, because otherwise your machine doesn't know that they're working with new canisters. And once I did that and hit reset, I then turned on my machine and used it for about 30 minutes. And it was really soon into using the machine, like 15 minutes, that I was getting that low oxygen warning. And after 30 minutes, I didn't have it. So I charged up my batteries in preparation for using it for my trip. And much to my delight and surprise, A, I had no trouble with the machine, but B, my battery life was more than quadruple what I have been getting. So it was clear that And I'll just disclose that I bought my unit used. I did not have it new. So I don't know what it was like when it was brand new, but it was clear that the canisters needed to be replaced. They were exhausted and not doing a good job of pulling the oxygen out of the air. That is their job. That is what an oxygen concentrator does, and those canisters do the bulk of that work. And then B, I didn't even know what the battery life on this unit could be because I had been working with it in such a poor state. So, all of this to say that these portable oxygen concentrators need to be maintained. I mean, I remember when I had a home oxygen concentrator, the oxygen company was sending someone to my house a couple of times a year to maintain the unit that I had. So it's not surprising, right, that these portable ones also need that kind of care and maintenance. And so ultimately, if you are using these units on the reg, paying for one of these support programs might really be in your best interest. And if you're someone like me who's willing to do some amount of tinkering, watching YouTube videos, ordering parts on the internet, there is a fair bit of self-rehabilitation and self-upkeep that you can do to maintain these units. And so, depending on your level of willingness and expertise, jump in or pay someone else to do it. But the bottom line is these need to be maintained to work at their optimal levels. And I can really attest to the fact that my battery used to last less than 2.5 hours, and I'm now getting close to 9 hours out of that same battery. And so it clearly makes a difference to have the equipment in good working order. All right, that's your message for this week. I hope that you are well oxygenated and thinking ahead about how to take care of yourself at the holidays. And until we're together again, I hope you find ways to be well.